You can know sporadic and still freeze when you need a receipt. That is not only a memory problem, it is a selection problem. Ask, do I actually use this word in my life? If the answer is no, a simpler word you need tomorrow may deserve attention first. A useful learner must reject some vocabulary for now. Say, this word is low priority, I'll skip it. That does not mean the word is bad. It means study time is limited. If you never discuss architecture, ornamental can wait while receipt or feedback gets practiced.
I focus on words I hear in real conversations. For me, that means noticing what appears again in meetings, messages, videos, and daily tasks. A word can look impressive on a list, but repeated contact gives me more chances to recognize it, retrieve it, and use it naturally.
Here is the 5-question filter. First, is the word frequent? Second, is it relevant to your life? Third, can you learn it in a useful phrase? Fourth, do you have a clear context and sentence? Fifth, will you use it soon? If it passes strongly, say, I'll put this word in my personal dictionary. Notice how that whole phrase links smoothly as one decision. Frequency is a useful first signal, but it cannot finish the decision. A word may be common for everyone and still irrelevant to you this week. So ask where it will appear, at work, in your routine, in a hobby, or in a near-term plan. If it matters, say, I'll put this word in my personal dictionary. Use this model. Let me learn the words for my daily routine. Your routine gives you evidence. Think about commuting, shopping, meetings, school, or family tasks. If a phrase appears repeatedly there, it deserves more study time than a random item you may never need.
For my work, ask for feedback is more useful than feedback alone. The phrase gives me the verb and preposition I need. I can say, I'm going to ask my manager for feedback on the presentation. That is ready for a real conversation.
Now test a useful work chunk. Follow up on. It means take further action about something already discussed. Before the model, complete this thought aloud. I need to underscore the request I sent yesterday. The answer is, I need to follow up on the request I sent yesterday. A reusable chunk gives you meaning and structure together. The phrase come up in conversation means get mentioned while people are talking. Use it as an exposure test. Say, the word invoice comes up in conversation at work almost every day. Repeatedly coming up in your real life is strong evidence that a word deserves attention. The phrase high-frequency words means words that appear often across many conversations, texts, and situations. One common word can support many contexts, so frequency is an efficient first filter. If important and meticulous are both new and equally relevant, learn important first because it has broader everyday use.
I need to know reschedule for my weekly meetings, so I'll learn it first. That sentence explains my priority clearly. I have a recurring situation, and the word solves a real communication need. I could make the same choice with refund before a shopping problem. My life helps decide which vocabulary comes first this week.
I hear apparently often, but I rarely use it myself. That separates recognition from active use. Hearing a word many times does not prove you can produce it. Close your notes and try. Apparently, the train is delayed. If you cannot retrieve it, it still needs active practice. Frequency helps when two words are equally relevant, but your life can reverse the ranking. General high-frequency words are a guide, not a command. A video creator may need tripod every weekend even if it is less common generally. Use frequency first, then let repeated personal need change the order. Instead of learning decision alone, I'll learn, make a decision about. The chunk carries a common verb and preposition with the noun. Say it as one unit, then add a real ending. We need to make a decision about the schedule. Now the vocabulary is usable.
Will I use confirm the booking in a conversation this week? That question tests near-term value. If you are traveling soon, the answer may be yes, so the phrase moves up your list. If subterranean has no likely use this week, it can wait. Immediate communication creates useful chances to retrieve vocabulary.
I'll prioritize deadline and feedback because I need them for project conversations. The reason comes from a real situation, not from how difficult the words look. Now copy the pattern. Choose 2 items you expect to need this week and explain why they deserve early practice. Which note prepares you to speak? Receipt equals proof of payment, or could I get a receipt, please? The second is stronger for active use because it gives a complete request. Say it aloud. The definition supports recognition, but the sentence prepares you for the real moment. Is tripod automatically low priority because it is not common for everyone? No. Tripod is high priority for me because it comes up in my video work every week. The deciding evidence is repeated personal use. A specialized word can outrank a common, unrelated word when it solves a task you regularly perform.
Are you available on Thursday afternoon? Here, available means free to meet then. That sentence is more useful for scheduling than a broad dictionary definition. Context selects the meaning and grammar. If meetings are part of your week, save the whole question, not only the adjective.
I'll learn invoice first because I use it at work and may need it every day. Compare that with learning recipe first simply because it appeared earlier in a textbook. Both words may be common enough, but personal relevance breaks the tie. Your list should reflect what you repeatedly say, read, hear, or write, not the order someone else printed the words. Selecting good vocabulary is only half the job. A translation alone often hides grammar, collocation, and context. Even high-frequency words stay hard to use if your card says only feedback equals comments. Add natural combinations such as ask for feedback and give feedback on something, then attach one complete sentence. Take the word delay. A translation may tell you the basic meaning, but this sentence teaches much more. There's been a delay with the delivery, so I need to contact the supplier. You can hear the article, the phrase delay with, and a realistic consequence. Save vocabulary inside language you could genuinely need in a real work exchange.
For workplace conversations, I would rank them like this. I'll learn follow-up first, important second, and ancient later. Follow-up supports work actions. Important is broadly useful, and ancient is less urgent. The order follows communication value, not difficulty.
Repeat this rule. I choose words that are common or directly relevant to my life. Common gives you broad usefulness. Relevant gives you personal usefulness. You need both. Now think of one common word you keep meeting and one specialized word you need for your own work or routine. Both can earn a place. I learn, ask for feedback, and give feedback on something. These chunks are better than feedback alone because they show the verbs and preposition that make the noun usable. Transfer the idea to another word. Instead of storing request alone, learn make a request, or respond to a request. A simple high-frequency word can be much more valuable if you need it often. When you say that sentence, stress the key contrast. Simple, more valuable, and often, not every word equally. The same principle applies to your list. Useful vocabulary should be easy to hear in a chunk and easy to retrieve in context.
Recognition is only one stage. Active use requires retrieval and sentence practice. I may understand apparently in a video, but if I cannot say my own sentence, it is still receptive for me. I should close the notes and say, apparently, the train is delayed.
I can combine general frequency with the needs of my work, study, and daily life now. I do not need to finish every common word list before personalizing. Today, choose one broadly useful item and one job-specific or routine-specific item. For each, add a phrase and a sentence that you could realistically use this week. I write a sentence connected to a situation I may actually experience. Instead of copying an unrelated dictionary example, connect the phrase to your meeting, delivery, appointment, or shopping problem. A useful sentence shows who might say it, why they need it, and how the words fit. Now I will give you mixed words with no perfect answer. Do not guess from difficulty. Remember that high-frequency words are only one clue. Use the filter, frequency, relevance, phrase value, context, and near-term use. Choose before you hear mine, and explain which two criteria mattered most.
I start with one question. Do I actually use this word in my life? Suppose the word is ornate. If I rarely discuss design or architecture, I probably have little immediate use for it. I can recognize it and move on. The question helps me protect practice time for words connected to real situations.
If a word is rare, irrelevant, and unlikely to appear soon, say, this word is low priority. I'll skip it. Skipping for now is a study decision, not permanent rejection. Use the save time on a phrase you need repeatedly, such as, "Could I get a receipt, please?" I focus on words I hear in real conversations. That means I pay attention to repeated language in meetings, messages, errands, and media I actually use. If actually, probably, or depends keeps appearing, I notice the pattern. Repeated exposure is evidence that the word may deserve active practice this week. After an item passes the filter, I can say, "I'll put this word in my personal dictionary." But my entry should contain more than the word. I add a useful chunk, a real context, and a complete sentence. For follow-up, I might write, "I need to follow up on the request I sent yesterday."
Let me learn the words for my daily routine. Now make that rule harder. Imagine your workplace list contains ancient, important, and follow-up. My order is follow-up, then important, then ancient. The first solves a repeated work task. The second is broadly useful. The third can wait for this particular goal.
The phrase "ask for feedback" becomes high priority when your work requires comments on reports or presentations. Even if another word is more common generally, this phrase may solve a repeated task. Personal relevance can outweigh general rank when the communication need is clear and frequent. The chunk "follow-up on" is valuable when unfinished requests or applications return every week. It means take further action about something already discussed. Say, "I need to follow up on my application." Then replace "application" with one real item from your week. That small change turns the model into active vocabulary. Here is the harder rule. Common does not always mean first. General high-frequency words are useful, but when a less common term is essential to your job, personal relevance can outweigh frequency. Specialized vocabulary may be needed every day. Prioritize the item that repeatedly supports a real task, not the highest universal rank.
The phrase "come up in conversation" helps me judge repeated exposure. I can say, the word "invoice" comes up in conversation at work almost every day. That sentence gives evidence for priority. For your own list, name one word that often comes up in your week and one that almost never does.
The phrase "high-frequency words" still matters, but it names only the broad starting point. A common list shows what many learners are likely to meet. Your other filters decide what matters to you. Test each candidate against your actual week before investing time in memorizing and speaking it. Use this pattern for your final list. "I need to know reschedule for my weekly meetings, so I'll learn it first." The sentence connects the word to a purpose and a time frame. Say it smoothly, with the smaller words lighter. Then replace "reschedule" and "weekly meetings" with one real need from your own week. I hear "apparently" often, but I rarely use it myself. That is a useful diagnosis. The word is receptive for me, so I need retrieval practice. Without looking, I can produce "apparently, the train is delayed." Repeating that process in new contexts moves it toward active use.
Instead of learning decision alone, I'll learn make a decision about. A chunk carries usable structure. I could write, "We need to make a decision about the budget." Then I can swap the final noun while keeping the collocation ready for speech.
Will I use "confirm the booking" in a conversation this week? Answer first. If you have travel plans, probably yes, so it earns higher priority. The question is not whether the phrase is good English. It asks whether this week gives you a realistic chance to use it. Now retrieve the relevance rule. I'll prioritize deadline and feedback because I need them for project conversations. That answer names the words and situation. Make your own version without reading the filter. Choose 2 items and give one concrete reason they belong near the top. The filter card can disappear now. You should be able to explain a fresh decision without reading the 5 questions. Even high-frequency words are only one clue. Take any new phrase and justify it. Is it personally relevant, useful as a chunk, clear in context, or likely to be used soon? Then prove the choice with one complete natural sentence.
Here is a fresh production check. Could I get a receipt, please? Why is this stronger than memorizing receipt alone? It gives the word a polite request, a real shopping context, and a sentence you can retrieve. Explaining those features shows you are applying the method.
One more conflict test. Is tripod low priority for everyone? No. Tripod is high priority for me because it comes up in my video work every week. Frequency guides you, but repeated real need can move a specialized item above a common, irrelevant word. Save complete language, not loose definitions. Are you available on Thursday afternoon? Gives available a specific scheduling meaning, natural grammar, and a likely situation. Before you keep any item, ask whether you can imagine saying a complete sentence like this. Context is what turns a recognized word into a usable choice. Finish with one independent decision. I'll earn invoice first because I use it at work and may need it every day. The method is complete. Start with frequency, add personal relevance, learn useful chunks, attach context, and check near-term use. Then retrieve the item in a complete sentence. Your personal list is a priority system, not a collection.